Hey guys, welcome Musky Road Rules Podcast, episode number 241. Guys, I know it's been a bit. It's been about 3 weeks since our last podcast, and I do apologize there. But you know what? I'm moving up north. I got up here. I'm up on Lake of the Woods. I'm up in the northwest angle, and basically just getting settled in. Now, lots happened since the last time we talked. I did the PMTT in Madison. Me and my partner Rick Hoover, and you know what? We did catch fish, but we did not catch one big enough to really, do anything in the tournament. It was a nice. We got like a 34, 30, 35, something like that. I can't remember, but it just wasn't what we needed. But man, there were some huge fish caught down there, guys. There were fish up to 52 3/4 inches, something pretty incredible, for a Madison area lake, for basically a metro fishery. And Mark Lijewski and his partner won the tournament, and actually I got the good fortune to talk to Mark, who we're going to have on here tonight. And basically, you're going to hear a little bit of our conversation. Now Mark he's a Northwoods guy. I know Mark from the Bad Fish Outdoor days about 20 years ago, and I've always liked Mark. I always thought he was a good guy, and just a phenomenal fisherman. The guy knows how to catch fish. He does his own thing. You don't really see him out and about, and kind of knows the way he likes to fish, and that's how he goes about it. And it's pretty interesting when you meet a guy and you hear a guy like that who's confident in what he does and is able to go out there and deliver the goods. I mean, he's always a competitor. He does have his ideas on how the fish are and everything, and that's something I really really like. But so hopefully tonight you guys will be able to listen to some of that. But to start, though, the podcast, as always, it's brought to you by one of our great sponsors at Musky Road Rules. Tonight's going to be Musky Innovations. Guys, check them out at muskyinnovations.com. Maker of all the bulldog sizes, the dying dog, the swimming dog, just a ton of different lures. And, like up here at the Northwest Angle, if you guys are looking at doing a Canadian trip this summer, we all have known the Bulldog forever, but, some baits that I don't think get looked at as much as maybe like the Shallow Invader for your Canadian lakes. We got some fish this week already on Shallow Invaders. They're great baits when the fish are tucked up in the weeds, or, if they're relating to super shallow rocks, you want to hit the bottom a little bit. Just great lures for pulling those fish out. I know for me, I've done really well in weeds in Ontario on those lures. My biggest fish, actually, on Lake of the Woods is a 53-inch fish that came on a Shallow Invader, twitching it through some really, really heavy weeds. And I just think that's a bait that guys don't think about or use, or when it comes to fishing like the Shield Lakes and stuff. So think about it, muskyinnovations.com, and check that out. And guys, we do have a new text number. I know I've been mentioning it here, but the new text number, the Lunge and Lures text number, is 502-977-4446. Again, Lunge and Lures text line, 502-977-4446. Guys, check it out. Lunge and Lures, making of all the cool, DC-10, DC-9, the Lungin Nutbuster spinner baits, and then you can't forget the crankbaits that they've gotten into. Really taking the crankbait world by storm with the 22 Short series, the Alley Cat series of lures now, and all the different depths of baits that they got. So, but guys, it's the first of summer. It's actually the end of it's first part of the muskie season in Canada, so it's late June, early July. The water temps up here in that 70-degree range, give or take a degree, and the fish have been moving around, so it's good if you are coming up to Ontario or to fish up in Canada. It's definitely, the bucktail bite is really starting to go. Haven't done much on surface baits yet, but there's definitely a bucktail bite. I'm sure the surface bait bite is going to be coming here very soon. So let me get Mark on here because I want to talk to him about some of his ideas and congratulate him on the huge tournament there in Madison as well. So let me get Mark on the phone here, and I think it's going to be a great conversation for us all. So let me call him right now. This is exciting.
Hello.
Hey, Mark, what's up, buddy?
Hey, not much. What's going on?
Oh, not much. We're recording right now. How's things been up in the Northwoods?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's getting a little bit warmer and dealing with the smoke from Canada, but other than that, it's been pretty good.
How bad is it over there? I mean, I'm over on the northwest angle here on Lake of the Woods, and it's not been really bad. But has it been rough up by you guys?
It was. We had a bad northeast wind the last couple of days, and that's when we really got. I woke up Monday morning, and I was literally looking around my neighborhood a little bit. I'm like, gosh, there's a forest fire or something. I mean, it was that thick.
Yeah.
That came down, but it's gotten better now. It's pretty nice out.
Yeah, I know even in Kentucky, talking to guys down there, it's been so thick down there that they've got less than a mile of visibility.
Yep.
It's pretty.
That's crazy.
It's pretty wicked. But Mark, for guys that don't know, what your full-time gig isn't fishing. What you're still in the construction game, aren't you?
Yeah. I build custom homes up here in northern Wisconsin.
Nice. How many you got going right now?
We're 4. We're just finishing 2, and we're starting 2 new ones. Actually next week.
Oh, Jesus.
So
you mainly doing lake homes and stuff, or what?
Yeah, a little bit of both. We do houses on lakes, and we do ones off water too. Anywhere from smaller 900 some square feet all the way up to 5,000 square feet.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I keep myself busy. That's for sure.
It sounds like it. Have you been fishing up north much?
I have. Yeah, I have. It's been okay. I don't know. I've kind of gotten spoiled with going to Canada and Minnesota and stuff like that. And with my time being limited to fish now, I find myself taking more time to go to Minnesota and Canada and just targeting some bigger fish, obviously.
Sure.
A lot of pressure around here. Man,
did you fish the tournament last weekend on the chain?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not. Nope. I wanted a break. It's not a favorite water body of mine, and just decided this year I didn't want to fish over there.
Yeah. Did you know anybody that was fishing it, or?
Yeah, I knew quite a few people.
Okay. What did you hear? I mean, I just kind of heard who won. How did you hear? I mean, did you hear how the fish were caught or any of the bites or anything?
No, it was pretty good fishing. I think there was 39 fish caught on Saturday, and I believe 20 some on Sunday. A local guy won it, Ryan Bach and Tyler Manny, which he's damn near unbeatable on 3 lakes. I mean, they both guide out there. I mean, they're out there every single day, and they got that chain dialed in really well.
Sure. Did they get those? Do you know how they got those fish, or any idea on that?
I don't know for sure. I am fairly sure they were casting. I don't think they were trolling. I don't know if trolling was even, legal in that tournament. But Ryan himself is mainly a caster.
Yeah. I know we've fished against him up there the last couple of years in the 3 Lakes deal, and he always seems to be up in the top 10.
Absolutely.
He
absolutely
seems to be a tough guy to compete against out there.
Yep, for sure.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Madison here. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but me trying to get situated and all the crap. I got up to the northwest angle, and the first thing I did was hit a deer. So,
God.
So I've got a Tundra. I could do a Tundra commercial right now, though. These things are tough. I mean, I'm missing I hit a deer. It threw me off the road. Went through the ditch. All kinds of good stuff. So it was pretty shitty. But let's talk about Madison. You're your guys' deal at Madison was pretty damn impressive. What now is that? Do you have a fish bigger than that in Wisconsin?
No, that is probably my biggest Wisconsin fish.
Would you ever thought it would come out of the Madison chain?
No, actually, I also got like a 52 and a half on Okachi pre-fishing for a tournament one year.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, I've gotten a lot of, like 50 to 51s in Wisconsin. Up here, I've gotten a boatload of those, but, yeah, 52 3/4. No, that was a monster.
So let's talk about it. Pre-fishing, what time did you get down to the tournament?
We went down the week before and caught a couple fish. Actually caught a couple trolling, which was really kind of nerve-wracking for me because we really didn't do shit casting. I don't troll, and I just, I was moving spots. I just trolled like for 10 minutes to take a break, and we got like a 45. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And we caught one casting too. Nothing solid, but we were on some fish. And then we went down the day before the tournament, which was on a Friday, and I caught one casting, and we caught another one trolling, and again we only trolled for 5 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, damn, if somebody gets on a trolling bite, they could really rack them up because I don't troll.
Mm-hmm.
And we literally had two fish in that within probably 20, 25 minutes of trolling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't really like that. And, Saturday rolled around and we went to our first spot. Kind of changed the plan. We made a plan in the morning. I was really unsure of where to start in the morning. And I went to the first spot, and in 4 casts, I lost one. Had it all the way up to the boat and got off.
Oh, jeez.
Definitely low to mid-40s. I'm like, oh, this sucks. Didn't see another fish all day until, late in the afternoon, like at 3 o'clock, we had lost another one. And then that was it for Saturday. And that was really kind of, just a tough day. Saturday for us was just a brutal day. So, on to Sunday, we decided to start in that same spot that I lost the one on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was a decent area. Didn't see anything there. Tried a couple other places, and I noticed the lake with the wind had cooled down drastically on the end I was fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is about 11 o'clock. I'm like, we gotta get down to the windy side of the lakes. I know all the warm water is going to be pushed down there and probably be a little bit better fishing. And on our way, I have a spot that we looked at a couple times, and it's just one of those, it's a big fish spot. If there's a fish there, it's probably going to be nice. And shot in the dark, the spot didn't look the greatest. There wasn't a lot of bait there. We pre-fished it. But it's a spot that when you're driving by, you should hit it. Just one of those spots that's worth with your cast. And we stopped there, and first cast, I got to 45. And we're like, oh, it's cool. We were pretty excited just to, knew it was basically ticket to the championship, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? If there was one on here, I think there's probably another one. And yeah, sure shit. 15, 20 minutes later, that's when I got the giant one.
Jeez.
Hit way far out, 3-foot rollers. Felt like a good fish, but didn't feel like that good of a fish. I'll tell you that. I knew it was big. I thought it was like another, mid-40s or so. And she came up and jumped, probably 20 feet from the boat. And I'm like, yeah, this is a good one. This is a 4-footer. And, yeah, we netted her, and I about shit when I saw her. And I knew that she was knew it was well over 50.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, 52 3/4 was in the net.
Wow.
So then that really changed our, game plan of me wanting to go home and quitting the tournament because it sucked so bad. And we were just in fishing mode, and I'm like, well, gosh, we can't leave this spot. Obviously, there's just no way we're leaving. Mm-hmm. And 20 minutes later, get to 44, and that was between like 11 and noon, and we had an hour left. I'm like, fuck, we're gonna get a 4th one. I really, really thought we were going to get number 4, and we just didn't get another bite the rest of the time.
Well, you had a good hour.
We did have a really good hour.
Oh gosh!
So that was cool.
Tell me, all right. So you're, the Madison chain tournament. how did you go into it? Like, what did you plan for? What was your idea going into it? How did you think you were going to find fish, and then how did it end up?
I had a little experience down there. We had PMT down there, back in 16 or 18 or some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew a little bit about it, and I did really good. We did really good pre-fishing that tournament. I know I got a 48.5. And I had boat problems, I know, on Saturday. I had no trolling motor batteries at all on Saturday during the tournament. We lost fish. It was just one of those tournaments where you just couldn't win,
Mm-hmm.
But I never minded fishing it. It was a good chain, and we saw good fish, and I never really had an issue. The only thing that was disappointing this year is the weeds were, like, way down compared to normal.
Mm-hmm.
We had a late spring, but God dang, the water was like in the mid-70s. I thought there was going to be, 16-foot weed edges out there, and there just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had to adjust a little bit and, move up a hair shallower and, kind of fish like that. But, my mentality going into it was good. I thought it was going to be a good, like midsummer bite because it had been so warm, up to the tournament, obviously.
Sure.
So we were kind of excited about that. We thought it'd be, right up our alley.
Yeah.
Were
the fish that you guys were finding pre-fishing and stuff, were you fishing like inside edges, up on the weeds, out off the edge? How was that working for you?
No, we were fishing deeper weed edges. We did see a couple fish up on the inside, actually a real nice one up on the inside, but we were kind of doing both, like starting off Saturday. One of us was casting up shallow, another guy's kind of working down the break.
Mm-hmm.
But we did move some fish up shallow. We definitely did move a few fish up shallow, pre-fishing and, during the tournament, but just couldn't connect on them.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely pre-fishing. It was hot, air temps. I mean, it was just absolutely warm. I thought the lake was probably, I think the water temp was ahead of schedule. The weeds weren't, but the water temp definitely was.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We were down the weekend before, and it was in the low 80s, and I had even texted Tim. I'm like, "Are you concerned about this water temp at all?" Because there wasn't really a cool down. He's like, "Oh no, I've never canceled a tournament," and obviously it did cool down a little bit. And the water did cool down, luckily, but it was really warm.
Yeah, we had.
So I think that had him in a funk. I think the fishing was a little bit goofy because that drastic rise up and then it cooled down real quick, and I think the fish were kind of feeling it.
Yeah, no, I agree. What for guys that are wanting to get into? I know you're a huge soft plastic guy and rubber fisherman, fishing deep water. Let's talk a little bit about like your electronics and stuff. What do you use, and what do you kind of look for with your electronics?
I mainly use my electronics for finding structure and bait. I know a lot of guys are into this Panoptic stuff. I am not one of them. I just don't feel that, I watched, and part of the reason I didn't fish Eagle River was because of the Panoptic for the loud, but it's not even about the advantage, but, I know a couple of teams that they basically just drive around and don't even cast until they find a fish.
Sure.
Take a couple casts, try to fish for it, doesn't bite, they leave, they sit back down and start driving around again. It's me. I mean, I'm sure you probably feel the same way. That's just like not fishing. You know what I mean? I just don't know what you'd call it. I'm used to grinding, 14 hours a day casting.
Sure.
That's kind of how I learned to fish was, fishing long and hard days like that. And that's what made, musky fishing so rewarding. Sometimes you go 2-3 days, those long days and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get one. And, that whole sharpshooting thing, it's just not something I'm really too fond of.
Mm-hmm. So what are you running on your boat?
What's that?
What units are you running on your boat?
I got all Hummingbirds, all Helix 10s, side imaging. And, like I said, I use the side imaging, a lot of finding structure, finding bait. I use it a lot for that. Do I specifically look for muskies? I would say no, but I watch for them, obviously.
Sure.
And I do find them sometimes on it. And I will cast at them if I see one, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like a total strategy that I'm just using that, the musky fish.
Yeah.
It's more of, finding bait, finding structure, finding weed edges, learning them, finding cribs and other spots that you really can't see on 2D, stuff like that.
Do you, what was I going to say? Do you run it, so on your screen, are you running 2 screens up front while you're fishing, or one with a maybe split?
Yeah, and I'm adding another locator up front. I only have one right now. I have 2 in the back and 1 up front. And on the back, I like having 1 unit just for side imaging. Then I have a map, and then I like having my 2D down. That's how I learned.
Sure.
And in the front now, I'm running more side imaging. And, I need a map, and I still need my 2D on the front, too. So I am going to add another graph on the front.
Why do you like, because some people, I know people will ask this, why do you like the 2D?
I can see bait on it. Weeds, I don't know. It's just, probably because I'm old school, I would say.
I agree. I think seeing like underneath the boat weeds and bait.
Yeah, that's what and fish, you can see you can see everything, and it's right under your feet, right where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps me stay on structure better than side imaging. I catch myself using side imaging more, but now I'm catching myself casting in the weeds more. Because my transducer for my side imaging is still in the back of my boat. So
Sure.
I'm trying to guess and use that side imaging, and I'm really not having a hard time, but I don't have it dialed in yet where I know exactly my bait landings.
Gotcha.
When I'm on 2D, I follow that weed edge to a fucking T when I'm on 2D. And then I can place my baits right where I want it. Because I know right where I'm at. I'm standing right on the weed edge. Or I'm in the weeds, or I'm on the out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And side imaging is a little harder to do that. You're trying to judge distances and stuff like that and depths. It's just a little bit more difficult to do that. That's why I kind of, use the 2D a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. What and for you, do you have a depth that you feel confident in, or when you go to a lake, are you just looking whatever the weed edge is, or is there like a depth that you're like, all right, if there's bait here, we're going to get fish?
Yeah, no, it depends on the lake. It depends on weed edge. It depends on bait depth. I don't have like a specific depth that I like to fish. It can be anywhere from a 4-foot weed edge on a dark water lake to a 20-foot weed edge in a clear water lake. It just depends on the lake itself.
Sure.
I kind of look, I know what to look for after years of fishing. I know what I want to see for bait and what I want to see for weeds. I can go on any lake and, within 20 minutes, I can usually find a muskie.
Yeah.
And that just comes from years and years of experience of knowing what to look for.
Yeah, no.
And what I like, what I like and what I like and want to see sometimes doesn't happen though,
Yeah, exactly.
You get on some of these lakes like, man, I want to find this, but sometimes it's just not there.
Yeah,
and, you got to take what the lake gives you sometimes, and especially in tournaments. Some of the bodies of water that these tournaments are on, obviously aren't favorites of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to adjust. You got to adjust and adapt a little bit.
No, I get it. I totally get that, and know that stuff changes, and also too, it's not like we fish in tournaments the most productive hours.
Oh, exactly.
Either. That's the one thing I always laugh about guys that don't fish the tournaments. They go, well, why can't you? It's not like we can go out in the evening or
right.
or find the most productive hours. It's you fish.
Well, I wish they would change that a little bit. There's a couple smaller tournaments up here that are doing that more. That was always an idea of mine to, why get up at 4 a.m. and have to fart around? Why don't we start like at noon or 1 o'clock and have a tournament go till damn near dark?
The drinking man's tournament.
I think that'd be really cool. And I think another thing that, I had an idea of, and, some of the stuff I like to run past Tim, but I just don't think it's quite feasible, for a lot of tournaments. But, have an area where you're going to have a tournament and, not name the body of water until the night of the tournament.
Yeah.
Many fish on great bodies of water get stung beforehand. I'm as guilty as anyone about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would take some skill. Hey, you don't know what lake you're going on. hey, we're gonna side the lake. That night it's gonna be within a 20-mile radius of here, and I think it'd be kind of cool to see what guys would do on a new body of water, that didn't get pounded to shit, and see what guys, true fishing skills like really were.
Yeah, no, I think that would be I do like that idea.
Yeah, it'd be neat. I think it'd be kind of cool.
I like. Really do you like the? And I personally do, and I think you might as well. But I like the fact that now we're able to. He's doing more multi-lake tournaments. Where
I think it helps. Yeah, I think it helps get the pressure off lakes and stuff like that. It gives you more opportunities, and it gives guys more spots to fish. There ain't 100 freaking boats like stacked in Scott's freaking marina in Cave Run in April. You know what I mean? It's nice to be able like, oh man, we got this lake, that lake, the other lake, and it spreads guys out. It gives everybody more opportunity at catching more fish.
Yeah, I loved when we were doing the the Eagle River tournament when he added 3 lakes. I thought, well, shit, this is going to be great. This is going to move. This is going to spread a ton of guys out. It's going to open up new stuff. Probably produce more fish. And
and it did.
It did.
And it did, and it was good. And and you had to do that because Eagle River, the fishing down there has gone down, compared to what it was, 5-10 years ago.
Sure.
Just naturally or pressure or what is. I mean, I'm assuming it's pressure. There's a tournament or a musky league or something on that lake. It seems like every other day.
Yeah.
And it was nice to get off of that. And just have more water to fish.
Yeah, that
Canada, man, I'd love to see a tournament in Canada, Lake of the Woods or Eagle or one of those lakes. It would be phenomenal. And I know there is a tournament on Lake of the Woods in September, and I've been eyeing that one.
The Musky Club.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. And I know Lake of the Woods pretty well, and that's cool to start seeing. Maybe who knows? Maybe tournaments will start taking off up there somewhat.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be neat. I'd love to see one run out of the angle here. It's still U.S. water.
Exactly.
I think you could definitely do it.
Well, there was that Can-Am thing that I was part of years ago. That was set up where it was going to be a group of like 50 American anglers and a group of 50 Canadian anglers, and have tournaments, country against country.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, the guy that was the Canadian, I was supposed to be the U.S. captain. The guy that was the Canadian captain, he was one of those guys that was kind of a loudmouth and kind of bucked the system a little bit. And they shut it down. The Canadian side actually shut it down. I think it was mainly because of him.
The Canadian, like the MNR, the ministry, or what?
Yep. Because technically in Canada, it is illegal to take a fish out of the net and take a picture of it if it is not legal size.
Oh,
it's a technicality. So putting the fish on a bump board, taking a picture of it for a tournament, they said, no, that's technically illegal. You can't do that.
My thing is, how do you know if it's legal or not before you measure it?
Exactly. But, I mean, you can pretty much tell if it's, 54 or a 40. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that kind of, that didn't help that tournament at all. It just kind of fell to the wayside. But
well, that was kind of the thing that was something that many, many years ago, I don't know if you fished the Detroit River tournament, that we fished there in Detroit.
Yeah, I fished St. Clair. I fished St. Clair one I did, yeah.
The one where we were just allowed in the Detroit River?
Nope.
Okay. Well, that one was the one where the Mounties came and, they were like, I know one guy had a fish in the net and they made him release it because they said, if you measure that fish, you're going to be fined because it's,
Yep.
And for that same rule that you're talking about, which to me is completely stupid.
For sure. There, I don't know. There's just animosity there, and there always probably will be. But I got to give it to the Canadians. I mean, they protect their resource. It's obviously some of the best fishing in the world, and part of it is because of their strictness and the way they do things, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not complaining about that at all. But
what's
that?
No, go ahead. Finish.
Oh no! I just said I'd love to see a tournament up there sometime.
No, it would be really cool. I think a lot of people would get into that. Getting back into like your equipment, I know this is something that people always are curious about. What is like your every day when you get in a tournament, your rod selection? So like, what would be a bucktail rod for you? What would be a rubber rod? What kind of rods do you like, and like the stiffness and stuff like that?
I am all over the boards when it comes to rods, because I will lose a few fish on a rod and I'll get mad at it and, oh man, it's a rod, I gotta get something else. But overall, I would say I like a heavy, stiffer rod more than anything. I just think the hook sets, with fish, trying to drill some of those hooks through bones and stuff like that. I don't think you can get wrong with a stiff rod. I've been trying some lighter action rods and some lighter ones, just for, fatigue and stuff like that, smaller reels and real light rods where maybe aren't as stiff. And yeah, I had issues with losing fish. I really have. I actually just bought a new rod the other day, and I basically went into the store to find the stiffest one that they had. And I'm like 3 for 3 on it right now. All of a sudden, it's like, well, shit. Is it I've always been like that. The only thing I've ever fished for walleye, for musky, for all that kind of stuff. I like a stiffer rod where I can get the hook set.
Sure. What what kind of length do you like?
I'm a smaller guy. 8 is a little bit short for me now, but I mean, I'll use a 7.6 like for jerk baits and Wat the Dogs. I'll use an 8 for certain top waters. 8.6 is probably my all-around go-to rod for most baits. For really heavy baits, I'll be back down to a 7.9 or an 8. Get the really, like the pool Q rod for, casting pounders and husky deuces and stuff. And then, but my go-to bucktail rod, I'm at a 10-footer. I'm at a 10-foot rod.
Yeah.
And I got it dialed. I mean, gosh, fishing in Canada, 75% of my fish every year on the figure 8 in Canada.
Yep.
And I started using that 10-foot rod. Oh, they're, when I get them to come in, they're done. I can get them to come in.
Yeah.
Just with that long rod, whether I got to go deep or whether I got to hang that bait way out or I got to get that fish to turn. I mean, I can do so much with that long rod. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm all over the board. It just depends, where, what, and what I'm fishing for, what I'm fishing with. And like I said, I experiment a lot. Like I said, I'll get flustered sometimes. You lose 3 or 4 fish. You're like, damn, I need a different rod. It's got to be too stiff or not stiff enough or something. And but overall, like I said, in general, I will pretty much use the stiffest rods I can find.
Cool. What about reel wise? What are you looking for in a reel?
I was a diehard Shimano TE 400 guy. For years and years, it took me a long time to get into these new bait casters. But right now, like, my favorite reel is probably the 400 Tranks. I use that pretty much to everything. And the 500. I use the 500 and all the fish in Madison around the 500. And, the 500 high gear I use, and it, I can pick up line, ripping bait and stuff. I can pick up my line really quick. Sometimes I wonder if it helps me or hurts me, though. My slower reels, my baits, you can't pick up that line as quick, so they hover a little longer and they fall a little further. Now with these higher speed reels, I'm ripping these baits and am I catching up to that bait too quick? And not getting that hang time and stuff like that. So it's all kind of relative to what you're doing. It really is. There's so many options nowadays.
Oh,
it's just stupid. Sometimes it's mind-boggling. It's like almost too much. But overall, I use, the higher speed reel. And then, except for, in the fall, I don't mind the lower one, for slowing things down a hair. And then also for, bucktails, for cranking big blades, I'll go to the Tranks, the Tranks 500 low gear or power gear, or whatever it is. When you're up in Canada and you're cranking 9s and 910s and 1010s all day long, you just can't do it with that high speed. You just, especially at our age now, it's harder and harder to crank those things in. So
no, I totally get that. What now you fish out of a bass boat. A lot of guys,
I would prefer to call it a musky boat.
A musky boat. Okay, yes. You fish out of a low profile musky boat. And is there a reason why you like that style of boat?
I have the 522, and I actually have the deeper hull. I have that 520 series.
Yeah.
So I'm not like a bass boat with that real shallow hull that has a deep water hull, so I can take big water.
Mm-hmm.
I get some wet and I take some of the bow, don't get me wrong. But last year or 2 years ago, we had the Mega on leech. That afternoon, I think it was, I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. I think it was Friday. That wind kicked up about 30, and you know what happens on leech when that happens. And we were way up on portage. And my buddy's like, oh, we need to get going. The wind's getting, I'm like, we'll be fine. And we had to get back. And, I knew the main lake was going to be a mother. And I'm like, well, let's see what happens. And we got to Otter Tail and I had to cross to get back to agency. And I could see there were 6-footers out there, 6 and even some Rogue 7s. And my buddy's Nate, I'm like, you just hang on. We're just going to go. And I said, I can't stop. I said, once we commit, we can't stop. And I made it all the way across leech in frickin' 6 and 7-footers. And I had no issues whatsoever.
Wow.
So I'm just used to running that boat. I like being close to the water. I don't like a hull in my way when I'm casting, figure 8ing, that type of thing. I guess that's why, I kind of grew up, I think one of my first boats was a Champion. And right down on the water. I can figure 8. Everything's right there in front of me. I've been in 620s and 621s. You got those big, deep sides. And, man, I'm banging my rod on the side of the boat all the time. And it's just not, for me, the way the style of my fishing. I've always just kind of leaned to that platform. And, my boat's like an aircraft carrier. It's 23 feet long, and I got all the room I need in the world, and it's just, like I said, in bigger waves and stuff, it's not horrible. Measuring at 52 3/4 was a bitch, because that fish, we were on the front deck, we were in 3.5-footers, and it was nerve-wracking to measure that fish in that boat. Because it's like, man, a couple flops, and this thing's going over the fucking side. What do you do? You got those short rails that are 3 inches long, and a big fish like that, it would flop over like nothing.
Sure.
So, but no, it's a musky fishing machine. I don't know for a musky fishing platform if you could beat that 522. I just don't think there's a platform better for musky fishing than that boat.
Sure.
Always was my dream boat for a long period of time. I know Mace Comer too. He pretty much still reiterate the same thing that, for a musky fishing platform, there's not a lot better in my mind than that boat.
Yeah. What about Mark? If you're just gonna go out there fishing, and as far as color goes, do you put a lot of emphasis on color?
Yeah, kind of depends on my mood. Kind of depends on the bait fish situation, the body of water. I'm more naturals. I don't throw a lot of bright stuff at all. I'm definitely more of a natural color guy. Blacks, browns, golds, that type of thing. I'm not into the chartreuse and pink and all that kind of crap. Really dark water, I'll play with oranges and stuff like that. But even the dark water, I throw a lot of natural colors. This always kind of been a preference for me. Around here, I chase Cisco's all my life, and I always was looking for the black and silver baits and stuff like that. And just trying to match the hatch. There's not many fire tiger fish swimming around, or hot pink fish swimming around. I do try to match the forage that I feel like I'm fishing over.
Okay. So you're not trying to make your bait stand out as far as color-wise, but more in the action you're giving it.
Exactly. Yep. Nope. For some reason, that's always been my MO, is just trying to stay as more natural as possible, not just totally blowing them out of the water. And sometimes that could hurt me. I watch some of these guys cast these crazy color baits, and they're catching fish on them. And I'm like, damn, how is that fish so stupid to bite that stupid bait, But, I know they do work. I got some bright stuff, but not, like I said, I'm more of a natural type guy for the most part.
Sure. What about up there right now in where you're at? What's your water temps, and what are you seeing the fish do?
In the low 70s. I think I'm running about 73. The fish, even last week, was still up a little shallower than I thought they would be. They are just beginning to move out onto their, midsummer, spots. and it's starting to go a little bit deeper. But man, the last couple of weeks they've still been up in 3 to 8 feet of water here, which really kind of surprised me. We were out deep, and I'm like, man, where are they? And we just couldn't catch shit. And all of a sudden, throwing a topwater bait and slide up into 4 feet of water, and I mean, within 5 minutes, we had a 4-footer up. It's like, yeah, they were still up. So, but now it's better in the 70, upper 70s, 80s every day, and I think now they're going to start sliding out. Our bug hatch got totally screwed up this year. I don't even think it's going to happen. The water got so warm so quick. It was like mid-summer. We had upper 70-degree water temps here, and then it dropped back down into the low 60s in a week.
Oh, jeez.
And now it's back up in the 70s, and I haven't seen any sign of bugs yet up here. No mayfly, no nothing. Yeah, it's just been a really strange summer.
Wow.
With the fluctuating water temps. Yeah.
Wow, that's we're sitting here, right around 70 plus or minus a degree.
Yeah, I'm heading up there. I'm heading up there in a couple weeks. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, really? Are you coming to Lake of the Woods?
Nope, going to Eagle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I spend most of my time up there is on Eagle.
Oh, well, that'll be.
Yeah, thought about it. I fish Lake of the Woods, and I miss it a little bit. But yeah, I got so many hours and so much time on Eagle, and I do well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just hard to leave that lake sometimes.
Oh yeah, there's some giant fish. Some giant fish there, and a lot of cool stuff, and hopefully the weather and everything is good. And then, are you going to be on? You're coming to Vermilion?
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, Mark, I tell you what, I appreciate you coming on here with me tonight and talking a little bit. And good luck up at Eagle, and I will see you over on Lake Vermilion.
All right, Greg. Sounds good. Have a good one.
All right, buddy. You take care.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that was Mark Lijewski. I tell you what, Mark is one of, and if you can't tell by his interview there, he is a character. And great guy, good information, and I really, really hope you guys learn something from that. Now, guys, I want to tell you on this thing is for Musky Hunter Magazine, guys, we have the collectible lure, which will be coming out here very soon. It's going to be the Shallow Invader from Musky Innovations. We've already got them, 500 of them done. Look for an email or a letter coming in your mailbox here very shortly to where you can order it. And, or check out muskyhunter.com for all the information. Guys, I am going to sign off. If you're interested, I do have a little bit of time in this fall in Minnesota. If you guys want to come over and do some sucker fishing with me, some live bait fishing, make sure you give me a call or text me at 606-776-6729. And, guys, hope you enjoyed tonight. Hope you enjoyed the talk with Mark. And I will talk to you later.